Buying your first home as an active duty military member is an exciting and significant milestone. The good news is there are special programs and benefits designed specifically to assist military personnel in achieving home ownership. Here's a comprehensive guide to help you navigate the process smoothly. Before we begin, my name is Eric. Call sign is Nuke. I'm a retired Air Force officer out of Creech Air Force Base and a real estate agent, of course, and hopefully one day your favorite YouTuber. And this channel is all about helping you navigate the process smoothly, moving to the Las Vegas area to Nellis and Creech. If you need any help, reach out, call, text, email. My information is down below. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So the best program that you're going to be able to use to make this transition when you get your PCS orders is, of course, going to be the VA loan. I'm just going to say this to start off. Be very careful who you use for your VA loan. Not every lender out there is going to be your friend. We'll get into that a little bit later. So number one, determine your eligibility for your VA loan. Understand the VA loan limits. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, offers home loans that have some very favorable terms for military members and veterans. These include, no down payment required. You can finance 100% of your home's value at a competitive interest rate, often like 100% of the time, lower than a conventional loan. There's this thing called private mortgage insurance that if you don't put 20% down, that's why these people who think they have to put 20% down for a regular loan, no, you can put down lower, but you have to pay this other thing called PMI. You don't have to do that with the VA loan. That's kind of like the gift from the American people to you, having this VA loan, not having this PMI. This is going to save you hundreds of dollars per month in addition to the lower interest payments. So how do you get this started? You're going to get your COE, the Certificate of Eligibility. Now, you can do this yourself. A competent lender can do this for you. This is another reason why you want to get a competent lender. Pull this. You can do it yourself. It's really easy. To be honest, first couple of times I did it myself. I went down to local VA office. I didn't know the lender could do it for me. I'm just telling you right now, let them do the heavy lifting for you. As far as the eligibility criteria, generally, if you're an active duty member, you're eligible after about 90 days of continuous service. Number two, we're going to assess your financial condition. Go ahead and review your credit score. Do not use Credit Karma, okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. Have a lender review your credit score, because all the stuff, Credit Karma, the stuff you get from MyFICO and stuff, that's not the score they actually use, okay? They use something different. The lender will do that. I know you want to kind of, like the new year that just came up, you want to work out before you go to the gym kind of thing, so you look good. No. Even if you're a year out, you're going to come up on the VML or something, get your credit looked at, okay? This is going to ensure you that you have the highest score possible, and you can work on that, which is going to get you the best interest rates. Go ahead and check your score. You can at least get your credit checked out, because you can get that once a year. Remember, law lets you check your credit report once a year. Go ahead and pull those 3 credit reports. Get those free credit reports. You know where to go, freeannualcreditreport.com. A lot of those others are bogus. Get the one that's allowed by the government. You can calculate your debt to income ratio. Now, preferred DTI that the lenders prefer is actually about 41% or lower. To be honest, the VA doesn't require any kind of a DTI. That's your debt to income ratio. Anything that a lender puts on there is known as overlay, and it's actually to your benefit, okay? Because, you don't want to be too overstretched, put too much into the housing. And that includes all your debts, and that factors in your car loans, credit cards, and any other financial obligations. Set a realistic budget. When you look at what you're going to be getting for your BAH, basic allowance for housing, if you haven't done this before, this is like really your first move and you haven't gotten BAH before, look at that and see what you're getting, because that BAH, that includes your utilities. So look at what your utilities are going to be. And one thing that you may not be considering is BAH isn't really supposed to pay your mortgage. It can, and it's paid my mortgage a few times. BAH is based on rentals, okay? So look at that BAH and if it will offset your mortgage payment. Look at your future expenses. Account for potential changes like deployments or family additions. And as far as deployments go, you're not going to be able to do things like you can with rentals. I've had troops under me in past assignments when they got deployments. They use their rights under the law, and then they just cancel their leases and they put all their stuff in storage under the government. It's like, hey, I'm gone for 6 months. I'll just run another place and I come back, and I don't have to pay that because they still got their overseas housing allowance and everything else and all of their COLA. And it's like they were just racking up that money in tax free and came back, had 30 grand and bought themselves a new car. You can't really do that if you have a mortgage. You got to still pay that, okay? Next, go ahead and get pre-approved for the mortgage. I can't emphasize this enough. You may see some things because as soon as you type in the words, VA loan, certain things are going to pop up into Google later. Shop around. I'm going to leave it at that. Shop around, because there are different little fees they put out there to trap you, okay? As Wu-Tang Clan says, protect your neck. Compare your lenders. Different lenders offer varying rates and fees. The rates don't vary as much. It's those fees that get you. They will really get you. I'm giving you some hints here. It's the fees that will kill you. I'm going to probably cover this a little bit later. I'm going to tell you how I've seen people get really screwed over by some lenders, maybe. Now, the next one is not as hard as you think. VA-approved lenders. Ensure the lender is experienced with VA loans. There's really no way to do that. There's a lot of lenders out there. They're all going to claim they are the best with VA loans. And there are lenders out there, and they do a lot of VA loans. But the ones that do the most VA loans, some of them, they're good with the VA loans. It's just that they sometimes don't have your overall best interest, and it's the fees that are killing you. I'm going to be very upfront. I do not work with the following two banks. I do not work with them, but I'm here to look out for you. I just want to be honest, because I do a lot of VA clients, do a lot of veterans, I do a lot of active duty. And of the lender that I've worked with, that when I say I don't work with them, they don't send me business or anything. I'm just going to be very honest with you. I'm just going to be upfront, bottom line up front. Navy Federal, and I'll tell you in ways I don't like working with them, because I'll just leave it at that. You'll get the best as a client experience with them. And they give you the lowest fees and a great interest rate. And I'll say the same for Penn. I actually like working with Penn Fed. Penn Fed gave Guy just phenomenal rates and everything else. Those two, chef's kiss, okay? Chef's kiss on especially Penn Fed. I don't care who you're working with, give them a call, okay? Next, you're gonna prepare your documentation. It's gonna be like working with the military. we know who we're talking to now. They're gonna lose stuff, okay? Everybody gonna lose it. They're going to keep asking for the same crap over and over again, and just be used to it. It's the underwriters. They're the ones who are doing it, because to be honest, you're sitting right, you're talking about you're buying a house. You're not buying a house. The bank is buying the house. The underwriters are the ones who are making sure the bank is protected. They're there to protect their necks, okay? I'm here to protect your neck. Gather your financial records, pay stubs, gather your W-2s, your LESs, all this stuff that they're going to be asking for. Gather your statement of service, get that from your CSS or whatever they're calling it now. When I was in, they changed the name at least 3 times. It could be something else by now. I've been retired for 9 years now. I should ask somebody what it's called now, especially since I'm trying to put together the ultimate relocation guide for military PCSing to Las Vegas. I'm still trying to get that done. I got to ask some questions of people to make sure it's current, because I did ask the person, if you're looking at some of my videos, it's like, nah, nobody reached out to me, because sponsorship used to be a big thing in the Air Force. We ain't got that much anymore, I guess. We got a new Air Force. It's softer, friendlier. You don't find out anything until you get there. Next, the obligatory choose a military-friendly agent. When I say military-friendly, find an agent experienced with work with military. That includes retired military. Sometimes it's a guy in your squadron. Sometimes it's a spouse in the squadron. I'm not just saying, work with me, work with me. No, work with somebody who is experienced. And one of the things I always say, work with somebody who knows how to keep their damn mouth shut. Because when I retired, I actually, went to, because I was looking for a flying job. I'm a commercial pilot, like, most other flyers. I was looking for a flying job. I went to get my resume worked on, went to a resume service. Guy was going like, oh, I was working with this lieutenant colonel up at Creech, and he took me into the back room and he told me all the stuff he did up there, all this classified stuff. I'm like, you lying piece of crap. No lieutenant colonel from Creech told you all of this stuff. Just be careful, because they're always going to be pumping you for information. OPSEC, and at least somebody who is a retiree and possibly a spouse is going to hopefully protect your neck. If you don't know who to work with, if you don't want to work with myself, or you're just looking at this, you're going to another base, reach out. I have military connections for military realtors for every base in the country, and Hawaii, Alaska, everything else. If you don't want to do that, just reach out for referrals for somebody in the squadron. If you know somebody there, they know somebody who's a retiree. Trust me. Begin house hunting. Define your needs and wants. Start with your needs and then sprinkle in your wants. And I say, look for your 80%. If you just talk about wants, you'll sit there all day long and you'll have some of the best houses pass you by. Your must-haves is the number of bedrooms, things like that, and your proximity to the bases and schools that you must have. Then you get your nice to have, the amenities like a pool or a large backyard. So I'm going to tell you right now, unless you're in certain price brackets, you need to really define what a large backyard is. Houses here in Vegas, for the most part, unless you got, $600,000 or more to spend. And if you're looking for houses around that are adjacent or at least close to where you want to be in nice neighborhoods for Nellis and Creech, you're going to be spending, $650 and more. And you're looking at 6,000 square foot lots at that price point. So keep that in mind. And consider your resale value. Look at your future PCS moves out for properties that are likely to appreciate. They're going to be easy to rent out. You don't always have to sell. I'm going to tell you something right now. My uncle, who God rest his soul, he was in the Air Force. He never sold a house until well after he retired. And then he sold all of them to buy his dream house. Every time he PCS'd, he bought a house, and the last house he had from the last assignment became a rental. That's something to think about. Look to see if that house is even eligible for a VA loan, if it's, meets the minimum requirements. That's one of the things I look for when I'm actually going around the house with a person, because, I've seen enough of the inspections to kind of know what VA appraiser is looking for, and I try to point those out. Then when it comes the next step, we're going to make that offer. Use your agent's expertise in making the offer. Don't go around being Mr. and Mrs. Lowball to see if you get it. I let people do that 1 or 2 times, then they realize, with the exception of, after we had our little mini crash and things went down about 10% a year or two ago when interest rates spiked, it didn't work out that often. Every once in a while we did it, and then we went back and forth. And I had this one individual, they were not a veteran. It was so funny. They wanted to put in this lowball offer. I warned them. I said, be careful on this lowball offer. And they were like, oh, they can just come back. Okay. Put in the lowball offer. Client, I'm like, well, they rejected the offer. They were like, okay, we'll just put in another offer. They're not going to accept another offer from you. Person goes nuts. They're like, what? They're not going to accept another offer? I already had plans and all this stuff. I'm like, okay. So you can put in a low ball offer, but be careful. There's this thing called bargaining range. And look at some of my videos when I talk about what to offer. Just be careful. Next one, you got to do an appraisal. Home inspection, that identifies all of your potential issues that may not be apparent when you're looking through it. Use those findings, negotiate your repairs or price adjustments. I always suggest price adjustments, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, when sellers have to do repairs, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna be bad, okay? They're gonna do the VA appraisal. It's gonna ensure the property values matches the loan amount and it meets the VA standards, which are very high. They're gonna make sure that you're getting a house that you can move into. Then we're just gonna close on your new home. You're gonna review the closing disclosure. That's gonna be about 3 days prior to the closing. This is an escrow state, so you may never, ever meet the seller. Understand the cost. We're gonna know all the fees and the charges before signing. That's gonna be in that final closing disclosure. So you're gonna know what you're gonna be bringing to the closing. Sellers don't always pay your closing costs. You will possibly have closing costs. And this is why I advocate for new homes. Because new homes right now, they pay your closing costs for the most part. New homes for the most part pay your closing costs. There's nothing to negotiate. All this stuff, all these lawsuits that you're talking about or hear about or reading about, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Now, you do have to use their lender. I'm gonna tell you that up front. And this is where I get to where I was gonna talk about earlier about this one individual. They used a VA lender. I'm going to use it that way. The VA, they don't lend money. The lenders do. They're just approved by the VA to use the VA loan. When people walk into a new home build, most of the time they're going to end up using that lender. And the reason that is going to happen is because of the stuff we just talked about. When people go like, wait a minute, you're going to pay my closing costs? Blah, blah, blah. I don't have to worry about this, that. I'm sold. Well, lenders, they usually kind of lose it because it's like, I just lost. Some of them accept it. They just go, I lost. This lender lost it. They did everything in their power to try to kill that deal. And they ended up the day this person was supposed to go and sign the final contract for that house, when it was ready for them, killed it. That person had to go sign a new lease to rent a house for a year. They didn't want to rent a house for another year. They're losing out on equity, and 2025 is supposed to be a good year. That's why I'd say protect yourself. And what makes it worse, and this is why I want to get into the story a little bit, this new home builder, they were going to pay all of their closing costs. This person didn't have the money for closing costs. So the lender said that, okay, we'll cover XYZ amount of closing costs. In reality, they weren't covering closing costs because remember when I said those fees, there were about $4,000 in fees that lender had that the bank for the new home builder didn't have. So those closing costs that they were going to kick in would have only been enough to reduce the closing costs of this person by about $1,000. So this is where it gets worse. When they then canceled or didn't go sign the contract and said they would go find a house on the market so this person could, because they talked them out of it. I said, I just want to check for one thing, because they said they would cover, XYZ and closing costs. Can you call up the loan officer and make sure they're still going to cover your closing costs? The person called the loan officer up and went, are you still going to cover my closing costs now that you've talked me out of buying this new house? I'm sure you know the answer to that now, don't you? No. They took away an opportunity from this person. This is what I'm here to do, help you protect your neck. I can't mention the lender right now. I can't mention the lender, unfortunately, because I have a contractual obligation from them. Now, here's some post-purchase considerations. Set up your utilities. I would do this about 3 days, maybe a week prior. If you go to my website, which you'll see down below in the not the comment section, but the info section, topvegasareahomes.com, go to the resources page. You'll see all the utilities if you just want to grab them. Of course, notify your squadron, aka military, your banks, insurance providers, other essentials. Get your homeowner's insurance taken care of. So necessary for your loan approval, protect your investments. Shop around, compare the policies for your home insurance. Don't just go with the home insurance you're used to. Check for reasonable prices because home insurance has gotten ridiculous lately. Fortunately, we're in Nevada, so we don't have this crazy stuff. We ain't got no tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, floods. Insurance hasn't quadrupled here like they have in some states. Next, plan for the future. Plan to possibly rental. your investment opportunities if you get new PCS orders. Well, that PCS here at the schoolhouse for the aircraft used to be here, and they were telling people when they got here, it's like, oh, you'll finish the schoolhouse and you're going out to Whiteman. I'm like, I'd already bought a house. Can you imagine that it happened to you? So look at that. And high interest rates are high. Look at your refi options. Trust me, they're going to be looking at you. The banks are going to be calling. You got your interest rate reduction refinance loan, also known as the EARL. It's a VA program to lower your interest rates in the future. Low cost, no cost. Stay informed on your benefits. You're going to be getting continuous updates on your benefits. These can change. Stay informed, because just a few years ago, your VA loan, your limits, they went from, the conforming limits of a conventional loan to unlimited. If you have the income and the credit and you can afford a $2.5 million house here, you can get a $2.5 million house. So there are no loan limits. Now, there are limits that apply, like if you're getting your second house and stuff, but we'll talk about that later. So purchasing your first home while serving in the military, especially the Air Force, is entirely achievable with the right resources and guidance. By leveraging your VA loan benefits and working with knowledgeable professionals and planning carefully, you can make a sound investment that provides stability and financial growth. If you have more questions, need assistance on any one of these steps, guess what? I'm here to help. My name is Eric. My call sign is Nuke. I served over 20 years in the Air Force. I'm here to help you. Call, text, email. My information is down below in the info and in the pinned comment. Call, like I said, call, text, email. If you got a little bit of help from this, hit that subscribe button, like, and hit that bell notification. And if you've been watching my videos, please watch some more. Share them, especially with your military colleagues. And if you watch these before, you know what I'm about to say to all of my military brothers and sisters. Alpha, Mike, Foxtrot, and to half of my audience who aren't in the military, who still love to reach out to me, you know what I'm about to say to you. I still love you because you reach out to me and ask for help. We're going to keep them lights on for you.